Do you hear what I am telling you right now? Your past is finished. It is over. It has been buried. It no longer has authority over your future. God is making all things new, and nothing, absolutely nothing, has the power to stop His hand from bringing change into your life. For too long you have allowed yesterday to speak over who you are. For too long you have let the shadows of what once was stand in the way of the light of what still can be. But hear this clearly: God does not remain in your past. He is the God of what is new, what is fresh, what is restored. When He speaks, creation answers. When He moves, doors are opened, chains are shattered, and what seemed dead is brought back to life. And right now, God is speaking over you. Behold, I am making all things new. You have wept over what happened. You have replayed the failures, the losses, and the betrayals in your mind again and again. You have allowed your heart to sink beneath the weight of guilt and regret. But today I tell you with conviction, that chapter is over. God has already moved forward. You are the one still looking at what He has already closed. The pain you endured is not your prison. It is part of your preparation. God did not bring you this far just to leave you trapped in the memories of yesterday. He is drawing you into a future where His mercy tells the story, not your mistakes. Your past may help explain your journey, but it does not determine your identity. Too many people remain bound, not only by what others did to them, but by what they believe about themselves because of their own failures. They say, I failed, so I must be a failure. They believe, I was broken, so I have no worth. But God does not name you by your weakness. God called you by His purpose, and His purpose is never erased by your past. If you opened your eyes today, then He still has a reason for your life. That means He still sees worth in you. That means He is not finished with you. The mercy of God is new every morning, and His power is not weakened by what happened yesterday. You are not the total of your sins. You are the evidence of His mercy. Stop uncovering graves God has already closed. Stop replaying words you can no longer change. Stop letting the opinions of people carry more weight than the promises of God. People may remember what you did, but God remembers what He put inside you. People may hold on to your failures, but God holds on to your destiny. And His hand is stronger. When God says new, He doesn't just patch up the old, He creates something you have never seen before. He doesn't just clean the stains, He gives you a new garment. He doesn't just repair the cracks, He builds a whole new foundation. That is the God you serve. The God who can take ashes and turn them into beauty, who can take your deepest wound and turn it into your greatest testimony. You must understand this. Your past has no authority unless you hand it the power. Regret is a thief. It steals your focus from what God is doing now and blinds you to what He is about to do next. Regret keeps you sitting in the ruins while God is building a palace. Regret convinces you that you can't move forward until you fix what's behind you. But the truth is, you can't fix the past. Only God can redeem it. And when He redeems it, He doesn't ask your permission. He doesn't need to consult your feelings. He moves because He has decided it is time. And when God decides it's time for something new, the past must bow, the enemy must flee, the chains must fall, the tears must dry. You may say, but I've lost too much. God says, I can restore it. You may say, but I've been too hurt. God says, I can heal it. You may say, but I've wasted too many years. God says, I can redeem the time. You may think you are starting over from nothing, but you're not starting with nothing. You're starting with God. And if you start with God, you're starting with everything. His power, His wisdom, His provision, His favor, they are all yours when you walk with Him. The same God who spoke light into darkness can speak a new future into your life in an instant. I know you have scars. I know you have nights you wish you could erase. I know there are names, faces, and memories that still sting. But your scars are not a sign of defeat. They are proof you survived. They are evidence that even when life tried to break you, God held you together. Your scars tell the enemy, you tried, but I'm still here. And if you're still here, it means there is still more for you to do. God didn't let the storm drown you because there's still a destiny ahead of you. He didn't let the fire consume you because there's still a promise waiting to unfold. You are still breathing, still standing, still hearing these words because your past is over and your future is about to begin. The enemy wants to keep you looking backwards so you never see the blessings that are right in front of you. But God is saying, today lift your head, look ahead. I have made a way in the wilderness. I have opened rivers in the desert. I have placed new doors before you, and no one can shut them. Your history is not stronger than His hand. Your mistakes are not stronger than His mercy. Your losses are not stronger than His provision. Every tear you cried, every heartbreak you endured, every betrayal you suffered, none of it will be wasted. God is the master of turning what was meant for harm into the very thing that lifts you into your calling. You may have been overlooked. You may have been lied about. You may have been rejected by the people you thought would always be there. But none of that disqualified you from what God is about to do. In fact, it prepared you for it. Every person who walked away made room for the people God is sending. Every door that shut cleared the path for the one He will open. Every season of waiting was planting seeds you couldn't see. And now, in His perfect timing, He will cause those seeds to spring forth into something beautiful. He will do it in such a way that when it happens, you will know it was not your doing, it was His. Listen to me closely. There comes a point in life when you must stop carrying the weight of yesterday like a chain around your neck. You cannot run toward the destiny God has for you while dragging the corpses of your old life behind you. The burden will break you if you keep holding on. But God is saying, release it to me. Let me carry it. Let me bury it. Let me give you something new. You see, the human heart was not designed to live in the prison of what happened before. You were made for movement, for growth, for new beginnings. And when God steps into your story, He does not simply repair what was broken. He writes an entirely new chapter, one that would never exist if it weren't for His mercy. Some of you are standing in the ashes of what used to be, wondering why God took it away. But He did not take it to punish you. He took it to prepare you. Sometimes He must remove what you thought you couldn't live without, so He can give you what you could never have imagined. If you keep clinging to the past, you will miss the beauty of the present. You will miss the opportunities He has placed before you. You will miss the relationships, the blessings, and the open doors that are waiting for your eyes. God is making all things new, but He will not force you to receive it. You must be willing to let go. I tell you, there is no shame in having a past. We all do. There is only shame in letting that past decide the limits of your future. God never called you according to what you did. He called you according to what He placed inside you. The world may measure you by your mistakes, but God measures you by your potential. He sees beyond the rubble. He sees the masterpiece hidden in the mess. And when He sets His hand to work on you, He works until His vision is complete. He is the one who turns storms into stepping stones and trials into training grounds. Every tear, every setback, every dark night, it all becomes the raw material for the miracle He is preparing. And hear this, the same people who doubted you will be the ones to witness your renewal. The same voices that said you would never rise again will see you walking in a victory that only God could have given, not because you proved them wrong, but because God proved Himself faithful. And when He lifts you in such a way that no one can take the credit. When He restores you, He does it so completely that even the scars become part of your beauty. When He opens the new chapter, it will be written with a grace so undeniable that all who see it will know it was God. There is a danger in keeping one foot in your future and one in your past. You become divided, torn, unstable, and instability will cost you opportunities. When God gives you the word new, you must put both feet into the path ahead. You must decide that what was behind you is truly behind you. You must choose to believe that God's hand is stronger than the enemy's lies, because the enemy will keep trying to remind you of where you came from. He will replay your failures. He will whisper about the people who left you. He will point at the times you fell short. But you must answer every one of those voices with this truth: my past has no power over me. God is making all things new. Let me tell you something. It is not enough to simply believe that God can do something new in general. You must believe that He can do it for you personally. Some of you believe in His power for others, but you doubt it for yourself. You think you are the exception to His mercy, that your mistakes were too great, your sins too deep, your story too messy. But God does not look at you and see the list of what you did wrong. He sees the possibility of what you can become in His hands. He does not consult your record before deciding your future. He consults His will. And if His will says renewal, then renewal is coming. And do not think for a moment that new means easy. When God makes things new, it often requires leaving behind the familiar. It often means walking into territory you have never seen before. It may mean breaking free from relationships, habits, or environments that feel comfortable but are killing your growth. It may mean trusting Him in ways you have never had to trust before. But that is the price of new life. You cannot stay where you are and step into what He has prepared. You cannot hold on to the old and fully embrace the new. You must release in order to receive. There is a holy courage that comes when you truly believe God has ended one season and begun another. You start walking differently. You start speaking differently. You stop apologizing for outgrowing the things that once fit you. You stop explaining yourself to people who were never meant to understand your calling. You stop lowering yourself to fit into places that God has already called you out of. Because you know deep in your soul that your past was only a prelude to the glory that is coming. And maybe you're still wondering, how do I step into this new God is making? You do it one decision at a time. You decide today that you will no longer speak of yourself as broken, but as becoming whole. You decide that you will no longer define yourself by your wounds, but by your healing. You decide that you will no longer measure your worth by the people who walked away, but by the God who stayed. You decide that you will stop living in reaction to what happened and start living in response to what God is doing now. Because God is not finished. Not with you, not with your story, not with your future. And if you can grasp that, if you can truly take hold of the truth that your past is over and your renewal is here, you will find that your strength rises, your hope awakens, and your faith becomes unshakable. And once that happens, nothing and no one can stop you from walking into the new life God has designed for you. There are moments when God will strip away what you thought was your security, not to harm you, but to show you that your true foundation was never in those things to begin with. You thought your stability came from that job, that relationship, that bank account, that reputation. But when it was gone, you discovered that the only reason you were still standing was because God held you up. That's the truth about renewal. It forces you to see where your strength really comes from. Renewal is not just about having something new in your hands. It's about having a new understanding in your heart. It's about seeing that God is the source and everything else is a channel. Channels may change, the source never does. God's renewal is not a surface change, it is a deep transformation. He does not just paint over cracks, He rebuilds the foundation. He does not just replace the leaves on a dying tree, He restores the roots. This is why sometimes He allows certain things in your life to collapse. Because if He were to build something new on a faulty base, it would eventually fall again. So He tears down, not to leave you empty, but to rebuild you stronger, wiser, and more aligned with His purpose. It might feel like loss, but in reality, it's preparation for something greater. And if you can trust Him through the breaking, you will see the beauty of His building. The past has a way of whispering its lies into your present. It tells you that because you failed before, you will fail again. It tells you that because you were hurt before, you will always be hurt. It tells you that because you once walked in darkness, you can never walk in light. But God's truth is louder than those lies, if you will choose to listen. His truth says, I have already carried away your shame. I have already erased the record. I have already set your feet on a new path. Do not return to the chains I have broken. Do not look for the keys to a prison I have already opened. When God delivers you from the past, it is an insult to His power to keep living like you are still bound by it. Some of you keep asking for a sign that God is doing something new, but the sign is already in front of you. You're still here. You made it through things that should have destroyed you. You endured storms that were meant to drown you. You walked through fire and did not come out burned to ash. That's not luck. That's not coincidence. That's the hand of God. And if His hand kept you through that, do you think He brought you this far to drop you now? No. He brought you through it to bring you into something greater. The survival was the sign. The breath in your lungs is the proof. You don't need another confirmation. God's mercy is confirmation enough. And understand this, when God says all things new, He means all. Not some, not most, not everything except that one thing you think is too far gone. All that means He can renew your mind when the enemy says it's too damaged. That means He can renew your joy when life has drained it dry. That means He can renew your hope when disappointment has buried it. That means He can renew your reputation when people have spoken against you. There is nothing too stained, too broken, too wasted for God to restore. If He can turn night into day and deserts into rivers, He can take your life, no matter where it's been, and turn it into something that radiates His glory. But here is the challenge. You must cooperate with the renewal. God can open the door, but you must walk through it. He can send the rain, but you must prepare the ground. He can bring the opportunity, but you must be willing to leave behind the comfort of where you've been. Too many people ask God for something new, but cling tightly to the very things He is trying to remove. You cannot receive with closed fists. You cannot move forward while holding on to what is behind you. Renewal requires release. It requires trust. It requires you to say, even if I don't understand, I will follow where you lead, God. And do not be surprised if your renewal offends people who knew the old you. Some will not understand how you changed. Some will try to remind you of the mistakes you made. Some will accuse you of pretending to be someone you're not. But you don't owe them an explanation. God is the one who defines you now, not them. And when He renews you, He will vindicate you. He will silence every false voice by the undeniable evidence of your transformation. Those who doubted will see. Those who mocked will witness. Those who left will watch from a distance as God lifts you higher than they ever thought possible. This is why you must fix your eyes on God and not on people. People change, but God remains. People forget, but God remembers His promises. People may try to limit you based on their memory of who you were, but God lifts you based on His vision of who you are becoming. And His vision is never small. His plans for you are never shallow. They are vast, deep, and beyond anything you could imagine. When God says He is making all things new, He is talking about a renewal that not only changes your circumstances, but changes you, your heart, your perspective, your courage, your faith. And I want to tell you something that may shake you. Sometimes God allows the past to hurt so deeply so you will never be tempted to go back. He allows certain seasons to end so decisively that you cannot reopen them. He allows certain people to leave so clearly that you will not run after them. This is not cruelty, this is mercy. Because if you truly knew what He was preparing ahead, you would not waste one more moment mourning what is behind. Your future is not waiting for your past to approve of it. It is waiting for your faith to step into it. And faith is not a feeling, it is a decision. It is the choice to believe God's promise more than you believe your pain. It is the decision to trust His voice above the noise of your regrets. It is the decision to keep moving ahead even when the ground beneath you feels unfamiliar. That is the road to renewal. That is how you step into the all things new He has promised. Some of you have been asking God for blessing while still clinging to things that are poisoning your spirit. You pray for a new season, yet you keep allowing the same habits, the same influences, and the same places that held you captive in the old one. Let me tell you this, God will not build something new on a corrupted foundation. He will not pour His blessing into a vessel that refuses to be made clean. Renewal demands purification. It requires you to let God remove what does not belong before He places in your life what was meant to remain. This is why some seasons feel like loss. It is not because God is taking from you in order to wound you. He is removing things in order to prepare you. When God chooses to make all things new, He is not waiting for your permission. He is looking for your surrender. He will not drag you into your destiny against your will, but He will make it unmistakably clear that remaining where you are can no longer continue. He will allow the wells you once drank from to run dry so that you will begin to seek the living water that comes from His hand. He will shut the doors you once leaned on so that you will stop depending on them for your security. He will reorder your relationships until only the people aligned with your purpose remain around you. It may seem as if everything is falling apart, but in truth, everything is being set in its proper place. And you need to understand that holy discomfort often comes before divine renewal. If you feel unsettled, if restlessness has filled a place where comfort once lived, that is not happening by accident. That stirring in your spirit is God telling you it's time to move, it's time to release, it's time to step forward. The old environment can no longer contain the new you He is shaping. You can't fit into spaces that are too small for your calling. You can't thrive in soil that has already given all it can give you. God will make you too big for your current season, so you will be forced to grow into the next. This is why you cannot measure your life only by what you see. God is doing more behind the scenes than you could ever comprehend. While you are counting what you lost, He is multiplying what you are about to gain. While you are mourning who left, He is sending those who will walk with you into your destiny. While you are replaying old battles in your mind, He is preparing victories you have not yet seen. God is never idle. Every silent season is a preparation season. Every pause is a setup for a greater release. Every quiet moment is Him working in the hidden places where transformation begins. But renewal is not just about getting better things. It's about becoming a better you. God is not interested in only upgrading your circumstances. He is focused on upgrading your character, your faith, your discipline, your resilience. He knows that if He gave you the new season without preparing your heart, you would lose it as quickly as you received it. That is why some of you have had to wait. That is why some doors did not open when you wanted them to. That is why certain prayers seemed unanswered. It was not denial, it was development. God was strengthening the foundation so that when the blessing comes, it will not crush you, it will sustain you. And let me warn you, the enemy will always try to drag the memory of your past into your present as you step into renewal. He will try to make you believe that nothing has changed, that you are still the same person you used to be. But here is the truth. When God makes all things new, even the parts of you the enemy thought he owned or reclaimed, He will take the very area where you once struggled and turn it into a place of strength. He will use the very wound that once weakened you to give healing to others. That is how complete His renewal is. It doesn't just touch the surface. It transforms the depths. And as you walk in this newness, you must guard it. Do not return to the environments that God delivered you from. Do not invite the same chaos back into your life and then wonder why your peace is gone. Renewal is a gift, but it is also a responsibility. God can give it, but you must protect it. This means setting boundaries. This means saying no when you used to say yes. This means choosing peace over drama, purpose over distraction, and obedience over convenience. You cannot carry the weight of the old world into the new season and expect to move freely. Hear me. God is not calling you into something small. He is not renewing you for a life of mediocrity. He is positioning you for influence, for purpose, for impact. Your renewal is not just for you. It is so that others will see what God has done in you and believe that He can do it for them too. That is why your story matters. That is why your past had to be overcome. Because there will be people who look at you and say, if God could bring them out of that, then He can bring me out too. Your testimony is a weapon, and your renewal is the proof of God's power. So stand up, lift your head, stop speaking about what was and start declaring what will be. Stop rehearsing the pain and start proclaiming the promise. Stop questioning if you are worthy and start walking like you are chosen, because you are not the same. The old you is gone. The chains are broken. The season has shifted. God is making all things new, and that means your past is not just behind you, it is powerless over you. There comes a moment when you must decide that your past will no longer have the power to dictate the language of your heart. You cannot keep speaking as if your future will mirror your history. The words you choose carry weight, and God listens to what you declare over your life. If your mouth keeps agreeing with the pain of yesterday, your spirit will stay chained to it. But when you open your mouth and speak life, when you declare that God is leading you into better days, something shifts. The atmosphere changes. Your heart aligns with His promise, and your steps begin to follow the path He has prepared. Renewal begins with agreement. If you agree with your old wounds, you stay wounded. If you agree with God's word over your life, you step into healing. Some of you have prayed for change, but continued to prepare for disappointment. You've asked God for open doors, but in your heart you still expect them to close. You've asked for blessings, but you've braced yourself for loss. That is not faith. That is fear wearing the disguise of caution. And fear will never walk you into the new season God has for you. God does not work through fear. He works through trust. If He says the old is gone, believe it is gone. If He says all things are new, believe they are new, even if you can't see it yet. The seeds of change often sprout in hidden soil long before they break through the surface. Trust that God is working in the unseen. And here is something you must understand. God's renewal is not always sudden. Sometimes it is a process. Sometimes He will peel away the layers of your past bit by bit, giving you time to adjust, to grow, to strengthen. You may not see the full picture yet, but each day you remain faithful is another step into your new life. Renewal can be quiet. It can be slow. It can happen in such a way that you look back one day and realize you are no longer the person you once were. Your thoughts have changed. Your habits have shifted. Your vision is clearer, and you know deep in your spirit, God did this. Do not despise the process. Too many people want the promise without the preparation. They want the harvest without the planting season. But when God takes His time, it is because He is doing something that will last. Quick fixes fade. Shallow change crumbles. But when God rebuilds you from the inside out, that transformation is permanent. He is not trying to give you a temporary high. He is giving you a lasting foundation. And sometimes that means waiting while He strengthens what no one else can see. It means walking by faith when nothing in your circumstances yet matches what He has promised. And you must also know this: renewal often requires separation. There will be people who cannot walk into your next season with you, not because they are evil, but because they are not assigned to the chapter God is writing now. Some people were meant to be in your life for a reason, some for a season, and very few for a lifetime. If God removes them, trust that it is for your good. He hears conversations you never heard. He sees motives you never saw. He knows the weight of influence they would have on your future. And if it's not aligned with His plan, He will not allow it to remain. Don't chase what God has released. Let go with gratitude and move forward with trust. There is a strength that comes when you truly believe God's hand is on your life. You stop living as if you are at the mercy of random events. You stop thinking that life is just happening to you. You begin to understand that everything, every setback, every delay, every closed door has been allowed by God for a purpose. And if He allowed it, then He will use it. Even the things the enemy intended to destroy you will become the very things that develop you. Even the nights you cried alone will become the oil that fuels your fire. Even the seasons of silence will become the foundation of your wisdom. This is what happens when God makes all things new. He redeems everything. And do not be surprised when renewal attracts opposition. The moment you start walking in your new season, there will be voices that try to pull you back. They will question your change. They will test your resolve. They will try to provoke you into acting like your old self, but do not engage. You do not have to prove your transformation to anyone. The greatest evidence of change is consistency. If you keep walking forward, the truth will speak for itself. God will defend your name. God will silence every false accusation. Your job is to keep moving and keep your eyes fixed on Him. The most dangerous thing you can do in a season of renewal is to keep glancing back at what God has already brought you through. Every time you look back, you lose sight of what's ahead. Every time you replay the pain, you weaken your hope. This is why God calls you to fix your eyes forward. The road ahead is full of blessings, opportunities, and divine alignments, but you cannot embrace them if your focus is trapped in yesterday. The past is over, not just forgiven, not just forgotten, over. It has no more authority over your destiny unless you give it permission. So walk boldly. Walk with the confidence that comes from knowing the Creator of the heavens and the earth has decided that your story is not finished. Walk with the awareness that every step forward is a step deeper into His purpose. Walk with the assurance that God is not just making some things new, He is making all things new. And when God makes something new, it is greater than anything you could have imagined. My beloved, when God writes your story, He does not write it in fear, defeat, or confusion. He writes it in victory, strength, and clarity. Even when your path winds through valleys and shadows, remember that God's plan is never delayed, never weakened, and never uncertain. What you see as a setback is often the very step forward that God has designed. What you think is a closed door may be a divine shield, blocking you from harm you cannot yet see. God's wisdom is higher than the highest mountains and deeper than the deepest oceans. You cannot measure it with human reasoning, and you cannot compare it with worldly knowledge. The human mind may question why certain trials are allowed, but the believing heart knows. God never allows anything without purpose. If He permits a storm, it is to cleanse, to strengthen, and to prepare you for the blessings that lie ahead. When God decides to elevate you, no hand can push you down. When He commands the season to change in your life, no power in the heavens or the earth can hold back the new dawn. This is why you must keep your trust anchored in Him, not in people, not in wealth, and not in fleeting moments of comfort. All these things can vanish, but God's power, protection, and mercy remain forever. Understand this truth. God's timing is not late. He moves at the exact moment that aligns with His perfect wisdom. Many lose faith because they want God's plan to match their schedule. But a true believer understands that every delay is part of a divine arrangement, an arrangement that keeps you from walking into traps, that positions you for greater victories, and that ensures you will be ready to carry the blessing without being crushed by it. If you truly want to see God's power in your life, stop fighting His will and start flowing with it. Stop questioning every twist in the road and start thanking Him for the journey. Even the detours carry divine purpose. the people who left you, the doors that closed, the opportunities that disappeared. These are not signs of abandonment, but of God's careful guidance. He knows what lies ahead, and He loves you too much to let you walk into harm unprotected. And when the moment comes, when God says no, you will witness what human effort could never achieve. Paths will open that you didn't even know existed. Support will come from sources you never imagined. Your heart will find peace, not because the storm stopped, but because you will know the one who controls the storm is holding you in His hands. My dear brothers and sisters, when God chooses to bless you, there is no force in the heavens or the earth that can stop it. No enemy can stand in His way. No scheme can overthrow His decree. The plans of people may be many, but it is the plan of God that always prevails. And when His time comes, it will come like the dawn breaking after the longest night, unstoppable, undeniable, and full of light. You may be walking through a valley now, but remember, valleys are never the final destination for those who trust in God. They are simply the path to the mountain He has prepared for you. The reason you must not lose heart, because God sees every detail of your struggle. He has counted every tear you have cried. He knows the words you could not say out loud, and He is the one who holds the keys to every closed door in your life. Sometimes He delays so that you will not settle for less than what He has ordained. Sometimes He removes so that He can replace with what is far better. And sometimes He allows a storm so you will discover that the waves cannot drown the one whose anchor is in Him. Beloved, do not be deceived by the seeming power of the wicked. Their victories are short-lived, and their strength is only for a season. God watches them, and in His perfect justice, He brings them down at the appointed time. That is why you must keep your heart pure before Him. Do not respond to betrayal with bitterness. Do not repay evil with evil. Instead, fix your eyes on the one who is the ultimate judge, for His scales never lie. When God is silent, it does not mean He is absent. His silence is often His strategy. He is working in ways you cannot yet see, aligning events, preparing people, and shifting circumstances so that the blessing, when it comes, will not be taken from you. If you could see what He is arranging behind the curtain of time, your heart would rest in complete peace. This is why faith is not just believing in what you hope for, but trusting the wisdom of God even when you don't understand the path He has chosen for you. So walk with dignity even when life tries to humiliate you. Stand with courage even when fear whispers in your ear. Speak with truth even when lies surround you. And hold tightly to the rope of God, for He never lets go of the one who truly trusts Him. The hand of God is above all hands, His will above all wills, and His mercy above all mercy. And when He decides to lift you, no one can pull you down. When God decides to bless you, no force on earth and no scheme of man can block it. You may see obstacles, but to God they are stepping stones. You may see enemies rise against you, but God turns their arrows into dust before they can reach you. You may hear whispers of doubt and fear, but God's voice in your spirit will thunder louder than every lie. God's plan for you is written by His hand, sealed by His power, and protected by His command. This is why you must not panic when life looks like it's falling apart, because sometimes God allows certain things to break so that He can rebuild you stronger, purer, and more aligned with His purpose. Do not mistake delay for denial. Do not mistake silence for absence. God is working in ways you cannot see, rearranging, removing, and realigning everything around you. The door you thought was closed forever may suddenly open, not because you pushed it, but because God Himself commanded it to swing wide. And hear me well, when God lifts you, He does it in such a way that no one can take credit for it. People will watch you rise and will not understand how you did it. They will think you had help from men, but your help came from the one who needs no helpers. This is why your trust must stay in Him alone. So keep walking, keep praying, keep your heart clean before God. For the moment is coming when He will turn your tears into testimony, your pain into power, and your struggles into signs of His greatness in your life. When you truly surrender your heart to God, you begin to see life through a different lens. The storms that once terrified you no longer shake you, because you know that the one who created the heavens and the earth is also holding your life in His hands. You begin to realize that every delay is not a denial, but a divine arrangement. Every closed door is not a punishment, but protection. When you walk with God, even your enemies are unknowingly paving the way for your success. Do not let the noise of the world confuse you. People will try to tell you that you are unlucky, that your dreams are too big, that your time is over. But remember, they are not the ones who wrote your destiny. God is. And when God writes, no human hand can erase. When He commands, no earthly power can resist. That is why you must keep your faith strong, even when the night feels long and silent. For in the silence, God is arranging things in your favor. Understand this: the same God who brought you out of the problems you thought would destroy you is the same God who will take you to heights you never imagined. But you must trust His timing. We in our human impatience want blessings instantly. But God in His wisdom prepares the ground before planting the seed. He knows the exact season when your heart, your mind, and your surroundings will be ready to receive the blessing without losing it. And when God decides it is time, no force in the universe can hold it back. Opportunities will appear where you saw only walls. Helpers will arrive without you calling them. Paths will open in places you never thought to walk. That is the beauty of God's power. He moves in ways that remind you that you are not the one in control, yet you are completely cared for by the one who is. Remain faithful. Remain patient. Remain firmly planted in obedience, because the day will come when you look back over the struggle and say, "Now I see why God made me wait." And that realization will bring such deep peace into your heart that you will never question His plan the same way again. My beloved, as this message draws to a close, let your heart stand firm in the truth that God never abandons His servants without direction, covering, or purpose. The trials in front of you are not your ending. They are a pathway, a crossing place, leading to the blessings He has already set aside for you. Every delay is part of divine order. Every tear has been counted, and every prayer has been heard by the one who sees what cannot be seen and understands the deepest parts of your soul. Do not judge your life by what is happening around you. Measure it by what God is shaping within you. The storms may be loud, but they remain under His authority. The enemies may scheme, but they remain under His hand. The doors may appear shut, but when God decides to open them, no power in heaven or on earth can close them. So keep moving forward with courage. Do not pull back in fear. Lift up your head, steady your heart, and declare the truth of faith over your life. Say to your soul, God is with me. God is leading me. God is preserving me. As long as you continue living surrendered to His will, victory is not merely something that might happen, it is something assured. And when that day arrives, and it surely will, when you look back on this season, you will understand why you had to walk through it. You will see that the journey was never without meaning. It was always shaped by His wisdom. You will thank Him not only for the blessings, but also for the delays, the detours, and even the denials, because all of them brought you exactly where you were meant to be. When God is preparing to place something great in your life, He will often begin to stir your spirit in ways you cannot fully understand. The nights may seem longer, the days may feel heavier, and even the atmosphere around you may carry a pressure you cannot explain. But that weight is not punishment. That pressure is not meant to destroy you. And that fire you feel is not there to consume you. It is there to make you ready. Because before God places something powerful in your hands, He stretches your faith until it is able to carry the size of the blessing. He does not place heavy crowns on unprepared heads. He strengthens the vessel before He pours in the oil. And someone hearing this right now is in that very season where everything seems to be shifting, tightening, and asking more from you than ever before. Do not misread this as abandonment. This is divine preparation. When God is about to release something big into your life, He does not speak of it lightly. He shakes your entire being until you cannot remain who you used to be. You will notice a restlessness rising in you, an inability to find satisfaction in the things that once made you comfortable. You will sense a stirring, a longing, a hunger that cannot be explained by earthly desires. That is God increasing your capacity. Because if He placed it in your hands while your spirit was still small, you would mishandle it. If He poured it into your life while you were still tied to old patterns, you would lose what He gave you. God does not pour out blessing where faith is absent. He blesses where there is alignment with His will. And when you are ready to carry what He is placing on your life, remember this: before the rain falls, the sky often turns dark. Before the harvest comes, the farmer must endure the ache of waiting. Before the breakthrough arrives, the wall can appear taller than ever. That is often the way God works. He allows you to feel the full weight of waiting, so that when His hand finally moves, you will know with complete certainty that it was God and God alone who gave you that blessing. And when He has promised much, He does not come with little. And if the wait has been long, it is only because the blessing is greater than what you imagine. Many of you listening are standing at the edge of something you cannot yet see. You feel it, you sense it, you cannot explain it to your friends because they do not understand. They look at your struggles and they say, "Why don't you quit?" They see the closed doors and they whisper, "Maybe this is not for you." But deep in your spirit, you know God has not brought you this far to leave you empty-handed. He has not allowed the battles, the sleepless nights, the tears and the confusion for nothing. Every tear was watering the ground for your harvest. Every disappointment was chiseling your heart for greater faith. Every setback was shaping your spirit to carry something bigger than you ever thought possible. When God is about to give you something big, you will notice that the enemy begins to fight you harder. The attacks will intensify, the resistance will multiply, and you will feel as though everything is collapsing around you. But that is not a sign of defeat. It is a sign of coming breakthrough. The enemy does not fight empty vessels. He fights the ones carrying divine assignment. If hell is shaking in your direction, it is only because heaven is preparing to open in your favor. That battle you are in right now is confirmation. God is about to place something in your life so powerful, so transforming, that it will silence every lie spoken against you. Do not be deceived. God does not operate on your timeline. He does not rush because you are anxious. He does not delay because He is uncertain. He moves at the exact moment when your faith and His purpose collide. If He gave it to you too early, you would not know how to sustain it. If He gave it too late, you would think your efforts produced it. But when He gives it right on time, you will fall to your knees and say, God, only You could have done this. And I want to tell you today, you are closer than you think. That pressure you feel is not the end. It is the signal that something is about to be born. A woman in labor does not cry because she is dying. She cries because something is about to come forth. You are in the labor pains of destiny. You are in the stretching season of faith. And the bigger the pain, the bigger the promise. God would not let you feel this level of fire if the blessing was small. He is refining you for something monumental. So lift up your head. Wipe the tears from your eyes. Refuse to let discouragement speak louder than faith. Stand in the middle of the storm and declare, God, I trust You. Even when I do not understand, I trust You. Even when it hurts, I trust You. Even when the doors remain shut, I trust You. Because I know when you move in ways that no man can stop, no devil can block, and no circumstance can reverse. When God is about to give you something big, He demands that you release the small. He cannot fill a hand that is still clinging to crumbs. He cannot pour new wine into old wineskins. And many of you, the reason you feel loss, the reason people are walking away, the reason old opportunities are shutting down, is not because God is punishing you. It is because He is making space. He cannot give you the great if you are still holding on to the good. He cannot give you the abundance if you are still satisfied with survival. He cannot give you destiny if you are still stuck in comfort. And that is why this season feels lonely. That is why doors are closing. That is why some friendships have ended. God is not subtracting from your life. He is clearing the ground for an overflow. He is pulling out the weeds before He plants the harvest. He is cutting away the shallow so He can build the deep. And though it hurts now, one day you will look back and say, God, thank You for every no because it made room for Your greater yes. When God is about to give you something big, He often allows you to walk through a season of silence. You cry out and it seems as though no answer comes. You pray and the heavens feel like brass. You look for signs, but all you see is stillness. Yet that silence is not God ignoring you. It is God working behind the veil. Just because you do not hear His voice does not mean His hand is not moving. A farmer does not hear the seed while it is underground. Yet in silence, it is breaking, sprouting, and preparing to rise. And so it is with you. God is breaking open your life in hidden places, preparing you for a sudden rise you cannot yet see. When God is about to give you something big, He allows opposition to test you. Why? Because blessing without testing produces arrogance. But blessing after testing produces humility. He allows resistance to shape your strength. Diamonds are not formed in comfort. They are formed under pressure. Gold is not purified by soft winds. It is refined in fire. And so the pressure you feel, the fire that burns around you, is not there to destroy you. It is there to prove you. It is there to show that you can carry what He is about to give you. For if God allowed you to step into greatness without being tested, that greatness would crush you. But when you are refined through difficulty, you are not only ready to receive, you are ready to sustain. Think of it. When the storm rages, trees grow deeper roots. When the river overflows, the rocks remain unmoved. When the furnace is hottest, metals are shaped. God uses the very challenges that frighten you to prepare you. Do not curse the storm. Do not despise the fire. Do not run from the pressure. For these are the very signs that you are standing on the threshold of something extraordinary. God is shaping you to carry the weight of glory. He is enlarging your capacity to hold the blessing. When God is about to give you something big, He often strips away the false supports in your life. Those people you thought you needed, He removes them. Those opportunities you leaned on, He closes them. Those habits you clung to, He cuts them off. Why? Because He wants you to know that when the blessing comes, it was not by their hand, not by their favor, not by your own cleverness, but by God alone. He desires no competition for His glory. He wants the testimony of your life to be one that points only to Him. That is why the path feels lonely. That is why certain voices are silent. That is why certain doors no longer open. Because God is weaning you off dependency on man, so that your faith is anchored in Him alone. And I say to you with all boldness, do not mourn what God has removed. Do not cling to what He has taken. Do not chase after what He has closed, because the very thing you think you lost was too small for what He is about to give. If it could contain your destiny, God would have let it remain. But because He is preparing something bigger, He had to pull it away. Let go of the ashes so that you can receive the crown. Release the broken so you can hold the whole. Trust that every subtraction was making room for multiplication. When God is about to give you something big, He magnifies your faith through delay. Delay is not denial. Delay is discipline. Delay stretches your patience, enlarges your trust, and deepens your dependence on God. Too often we want immediate answers, instant doors, quick success. But what comes quickly often leaves quickly. What is birthed through waiting is sustained through endurance. And so God trains you to wait. He teaches you to walk by faith, not by sight. He shows you that the unseen hand is more powerful than the visible world. Do not despise the delay. It is the womb of destiny. And hear me, the longer the delay, the greater the manifestation. If God is taking His time with you, it is only because what He is preparing is greater than what you imagine. You may have thought He would give you a little, but He intends to give you overflow. You may have thought the door would be small, but He is building a gate. You may have thought the blessing would touch you, but He is preparing it to overflow to generations after you. This is why you must not faint in the waiting. Do not measure your future by the silence of the present. God is never late, never early, always on time. When God is about to give you something big, He deposits visions in your heart that scare you. He shows you dreams too large for your resources, callings too high for your strength, assignments too heavy for your ability. Why? Because He wants you to know that this is not a man-made dream. It is a God-sized vision. If you could achieve it on your own, it would not require His power. But when you look at it and say, God, I cannot do this without you, then you are in the right place. Because the blessing He is preparing for you is not to glorify your name, but to magnify His. And so do not shrink when the vision looks bigger than you. Do not run when the calling looks heavier than you. That is exactly the evidence that it is God ordained. He never gives small assignments to those who trust Him. He calls you higher than your ability so that His power can carry you. He stretches you beyond your strength so that His strength can be revealed. If you feel weak, then you are in the perfect place for God to show Himself strong. When God is about to give you something big, He shakes everything around you that is not rooted in Him. The ground will tremble, the structures will sway, the false foundations will crumble. It feels terrifying, it feels unstable, but it is necessary, because if He built your blessing on unstable ground, it would collapse. And so He shakes everything until only what is unshakable remains. And when He finally places the blessing in your hands, you will stand secure, unmoved, unbroken, because your foundation is God alone. This is why you must not panic in the shaking. Do not cry, "God, why is everything falling apart?" Say instead, "God, I trust that you are securing my foundation, because the greater the building, the deeper the foundation. The higher the tower, the stronger the base." And if God is preparing to build high in your life, He will dig deep first. Let Him dig. Let Him shake. Let Him remove what is unstable. For when He is finished, nothing will be able to topple what He places in your life. When God is about to give you something big, He will make you walk by faith into unfamiliar territory. He will call you out of the familiar, away from the comfortable, beyond the predictable. You will find yourself in new places, meeting new people, facing new challenges. This is not to frighten you. It is to stretch you. God does not grow you in the shallow end. He teaches you to swim in deep waters. And though your feet cannot touch the bottom, His hand will never let you drown. So if you find yourself in places that feel strange, seasons that feel uncertain, situations that feel overwhelming, rejoice. It is a sign that God is enlarging you for something big. Growth never feels easy. Destiny never feels safe. But it is in the deep that faith is proven. And if He has led you here, He will sustain you here. He did not bring you this far to abandon you. He brought you here to show you His power. When God is about to give you something big, He often allows you to stand in places where your own strength fails. He will bring you to the edge of the Red Sea in your life, where behind you the enemy presses hard, and before you the waters seem impossible to cross. Why does He do this? Because it is in the impossible that His power is revealed. If the way was easy, you would have thought it was your own wisdom. If the door opened by the hand of man, you would have given man the credit. But when God places you in a place where no one else can help you, where no solution can be found, where only His hand can make a way, then when the waters part, you will lift your hands and declare, "It was God alone." This is why you must not fear the impossible places in your life. Do not panic when you see no way forward. Do not despair when your back is against the wall. These are the very signs that you are in position for a miracle. For when God is about to give you something big, He often lets the situation look hopeless, so that when He moves, there will be no doubt who is in control. You may not know how, you may not know when, but you can be certain of this: God has not led you here to leave you. He has not brought you into the storm to let you drown. He has placed you here to show you His glory in a way that will leave you speechless. When God is about to give you something big, He refines your words and your thoughts. Suddenly you cannot speak like you used to. You cannot entertain the same negative conversations. You cannot allow doubt to take root in your mind, because the size of your blessing requires the discipline of your tongue and the purity of your thoughts. God will nudge your spirit when you complain. He will correct you when you speak defeat. He will convict you when you allow fear to dominate your heart. Why? Because He knows the power of life and death is in the tongue. He knows that the way you think will shape the way you live. And if you are to carry something great, you must learn to speak with faith and think with clarity. This is why you will notice in this season that your spirit grows restless with negativity. What once entertained you now burdens you. What once seemed harmless now disturbs you. That is God sanctifying your inner life for the magnitude of what He is about to place in your hands. He cannot pour great blessing into a vessel filled with toxic thoughts. He cannot release abundant favor into a life filled with careless words. He must clean the inside before He fills it. And so if you feel that tug, if you sense that conviction, do not resist. It is the evidence that you are being prepared for something higher. When God is about to give you something big, He stirs up courage in your spirit. He will not allow you to remain timid, weak, or passive. He will demand that you stand strong, that you refuse to bow to fear, that you declare boldly what He has promised. Because greatness is not given to those who shrink back. It is granted to those who choose to move ahead in faith. You may shake, but you will not be brought down. You may feel afraid, but courage is not the absence of fear. It is the choice to trust God more than you trust what you feel. And because of that, God will lead you into moments that demand boldness. He will ask you to speak when silence feels easier, to step forward when you would rather remain where you are, to act when every part of you wants to withdraw. This is how He forms courage within you. Do not resent the moments when you tremble. Do not resist the times when you are stretched beyond what feels comfortable. That is God drawing out the warrior within you. That is God teaching you how to stand and fight by faith. And understand this clearly. The greater the blessing, the greater the courage needed to carry it well. Because when you enter into something great, resistance will appear. Critics will speak. Envy will rise. But when God has strengthened your courage, you will remain steady, firm, and unshaken, declaring, I will not be afraid because my trust is in God. When God is preparing to place something great in your life, He also sharpens your discernment. All at once, you begin to see beyond the surface people present. You begin to recognize the deception behind a smile, the motive hidden beneath kindness, the jealousy tucked inside certain words. This is not so you will become suspicious of everyone, but so you will be protected from the traps of the enemy. Great blessings often draw great opposition, and many times the enemy works through the people nearest to you, the very ones you would least expect. But in His mercy, God begins to sharpen your vision. He opens your eyes to notice what others fail to see. He speaks quietly to your spirit, showing you when to move ahead and when to step back, when to hold close and when to let go. This is part of His protection, making sure that what He places in your hands is not taken away through the wrong connections. So if you feel distance growing between you and certain people, do not fight it. If God is pulling you away from circles that no longer feed your spirit, do not resist. If He is showing you the truth about someone's heart, do not ignore it. This is not cruelty, it is mercy. It is God shielding you from the wrong voices so you can walk in alignment with His purpose. The bigger the blessing, the more focused the circle must be. And sometimes that means walking alone for a season until God connects you with the right voices for your next level. When God is about to give you something big, He demands obedience in the small things. Do not think that greatness is only built in grand stages. No, it is proven in the secret acts of obedience. The quiet, yes, when no one is watching. The small steps of faith when no one applauds. The discipline to pray when it feels dry. To believe when it looks dark. To sow when it feels costly. God watches the small acts. He measures your faithfulness in the hidden moments. Because if you cannot obey in the small, you cannot be trusted with the great. Do not despise the little task God places before you. Do not grow weary in the hidden service. For every act of obedience is a seed in the ground, and when the time comes, the harvest will overwhelm you. Big blessings are never random. They are the result of consistent obedience. What you do in secret, God will reward openly. What you give in silence, God will multiply in public. What you sacrifice in private, God will honor in ways that will shock even your enemies. When God is about to give you something big, He births perseverance in your soul. He teaches you not to quit. He strengthens your heart to endure. Because the path to greatness is never straight. It is filled with turns, delays, setbacks, and trials. And without perseverance, you would give up before the promise arrives. But God, in His wisdom, allows the journey to be long enough to shape you, difficult enough to mature you, and uncertain enough to keep you dependent on Him. This is His way of ensuring that when you finally receive, you are not fragile, but fortified. Hear this. The enemy cannot stop what God has ordained, but he can try to make you quit before you reach it. That is why perseverance is your weapon. That is why endurance is your shield. The blessing is certain, but the question is, will you stand long enough to see it? Will you endure long enough to hold it? Will you refuse to give up, even when everything around you says quit? If you can endure the night, the dawn will break. If you can hold on through the storm, the rainbow will appear. If you can keep walking through the valley, you will step into the mountain of promise. Perseverance is the bridge between prophecy and manifestation. When God is about to give you something big, He places in your spirit a peace that does not make sense. The storm may rage, but deep inside there is calm. The winds may blow, but within there is stillness. The world may shake, but your heart rests secure. This peace is not the absence of trouble, it is the presence of God in the midst of trouble. It is His way of telling you, I am with you. Do not fear. Keep walking. And this peace is your anchor. When doubt rises, it steadies you. When fear whispers, it silences you. When chaos surrounds, it guards you. Do not ignore this peace. It is God's confirmation. It is His assurance that no matter how it looks, His plan is unfolding. Trust that peace. Follow that peace. It is the compass that will lead you into your blessing. When God is about to give you something big, He will require you to release your grip on control. One of the hardest lessons a believer must learn is that you cannot manipulate the timing of God. You cannot force His hand, nor can you bend His will to suit your impatience. God is not moved by your calendar. He is moved by your trust. And so He allows seasons where every plan you have built crumbles. Every strategy you thought would succeed fails. And every safety net you once relied upon disappears. Why? Because He wants you to know that when His blessing comes, it is not because of your control. it is because of His sovereignty. This surrender is not weakness, it is the highest strength. To say, God, I release my plans for yours is not defeat, it is victory. Because your plan may be good, but His plan is perfect. Your strategy may open a small door, but His strategy unlocks an entire future. Your wisdom may carry you for a season, but His wisdom establishes you for eternity. Let go of the illusion that you must orchestrate everything. Trust that God has already written the script of your blessing. He knows the beginning from the end. He knows which doors to close and which to open, which voices to silence and which to amplify. Stop wrestling for control and start resting in His control. When God is about to give you something big, He cultivates patience in the deepest part of your soul. Patience is not simply waiting. It is waiting without complaint, waiting without doubt, waiting with trust. It is holding on with peace in your spirit, even when the visible evidence looks contrary. And understand this, the size of your patience is often a mirror of the size of your blessing. If God is asking you to wait longer than others, it is only because He is preparing something greater than others. Do not despise the waiting room. It is sacred ground where faith matures, where hope strengthens, where character is forged. Look around you. Those who rush into blessings often see them vanish. But those who wait on God walk into blessings that cannot be shaken. God will never allow patience to be wasted. Every second of your waiting is building endurance for the weight of what is coming. And one day soon you will realize the wait was not a delay, it was a preparation. The longer the roots grow underground, the stronger the tree stands above. So if God is stretching your patience, rejoice. Something mighty is about to break forth. When God is about to give you something big, He ignites in you a hunger for more of Him. Suddenly, the shallow no longer satisfies. The distractions that once filled your time lose their grip. You find yourself longing for His presence, desiring His voice, craving His guidance. That hunger is not accidental, it is divine, because the blessing you are about to receive cannot be carried by talent, money, or connections alone. It can only be carried by intimacy with God. And so He draws you closer. He pulls you into prayer. He awakens you in the midnight hours to whisper into your spirit. He increases your thirst so that when the blessing comes, you will not worship the blessing, you will worship the giver. Do not ignore that hunger. Do not drown it with noise. Do not distract it with temporary pleasures. That longing is holy preparation. Feed it with prayer. Strengthen it with meditation. Guard it with obedience. Because the more you seek God, the more capacity you have to carry His blessing. And the more you desire Him, the less the blessing itself can corrupt you. For blessings are dangerous when they take God's place. But when your hunger is fixed on Him, the blessing only multiplies your worship. When God is about to give you something big, He positions you in the presence of opposition to sharpen your spirit. You may wonder, why are so many against me? Why do I face so much resistance? Why does it feel like people are rising to block me at every turn? Do not be discouraged. God uses opposition as a chisel to shape you. He allows resistance to build resilience. He places you before enemies not to destroy you, but to display His power in you. Without enemies, there can be no victory. Without resistance, there can be no breakthrough. Without opposition, there can be no testimony. And so lift your head in the face of opposition. Say, God, I will not fear, for if you have allowed this, you will use it for my good. Understand, this opposition is not a sign that you are forgotten. It is proof that you are chosen. The enemy does not fight those who are empty. He only fights those who carry something worth stealing. The greater the blessing, the fiercer the battle. But the fiercer the battle, the louder the victory. And soon, those who rose against you will see with their own eyes that God was on your side. When God is about to give you something big, He refines your priorities. Suddenly, you can no longer waste time on meaningless pursuits. You cannot live carelessly, distracted by the trivial, consumed by the temporary. God awakens you to the value of time, the weight of purpose, the urgency of destiny. He teaches you to walk wisely, to choose carefully, to invest your energy in what truly matters. Because blessings require stewardship, abundance requires focus. And if you are careless with your time, you will be careless with your blessing. This is why in this season you may feel pulled away from old habits, old patterns, old distractions. Do not resist this shift. It is God's way of clearing your path. He is teaching you to number your days, to value your hours, to walk with purpose. Because when the blessing comes, you cannot afford to be entangled in what does not matter. The higher He lifts you, the more disciplined your life must become. And if you embrace that discipline now, you will be ready when the doors open. When God is about to give you something big, He increases the fire of adversity to expose what cannot go with you. The heat of trials reveals the cracks in your foundation, the impurities in your character, the weaknesses in your spirit. He does this not to shame you, but to cleanse you. Because if He gave you the blessing without exposing these flaws, they would later destroy what He gave. And so He uses the fire to purge. He uses the trial to refine. He uses the adversity to burn away the unnecessary. Rejoice in the fire, for it is not your enemy, it is your purifier. Do not curse the flames. Thank God for them. For though they burn, they do not consume. Though they hurt, they heal. Though they strip, they strengthen. And when you emerge from the fire, you will not only be ready to carry the blessing, you will shine with a glory that can only come from having walked through the furnace with God's hand upon you. When God is about to give you something big, He instills in you a vision of the future that contradicts your present. You may be surrounded by lack, but He shows you abundance. You may be living in obscurity, but He whispers of influence. You may be pressed by weakness, but He reveals strength. This vision is not a fantasy, it is prophecy. It is God planting in your heart the picture of what He is preparing. Hold on to that vision, no matter how impossible it looks, because the vision is the seed of your blessing. Guard it fiercely. Do not let doubt steal it. Do not let mockers shame it. Do not let fear bury it, for the vision is your lifeline in the storm. It is the rope that pulls you forward when all else says quit. And in time that vision will speak. Though it tar, wait for it. It will surely come. God does not tease with empty dreams. If He placed it in your heart, He intends to fulfill it. When God is about to give you something big, He surrounds you with signs. Signs in your spirit. Signs in your circumstances. Signs in the whispers of prayer. You begin to sense alignment as though pieces are falling together in ways you could not have arranged. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations. God often signals His movement with patterns that echo in your life. Watch carefully. Listen closely. The signs are there not to give you control, but to give you assurance. Assurance that though you cannot see the whole picture, He is guiding every step. And when the day finally comes, when the blessing manifests, when the door swings wide, you will realize it was worth every tear, every weight, every trial. You will look back and understand why God had to strip, why He had to delay, why He had to refine. Because without those seasons, you would not have been ready. But now, because you endured, you are prepared to receive. And not only receive, but to sustain. Beloved, when God declares that He is making all things new, it is not a poetic whisper. It is a divine decree that carries the full weight of His power. God does not speak in vain. His words are creative forces. They shape destinies, overturn curses, dismantle chains, and open doors that no man can shut. When He says your past is over, He means that every mistake, every wound, every regret, and every sin that once tried to bury you is no longer your identity. God has severed the ties of yesterday and called you into the promise of tomorrow. Too often we drag yesterday's ashes into today's fire, forgetting that God has already burned away what once bound us. The enemy thrives on your memory of failure, but God thrives on your faith in His renewal. He wants you to stop gazing at the ruins of what once was and start walking toward the city He is building for you. The old has been buried. God has planted you in new soil. Do not let the shadow of yesterday block the sunrise God has placed before you. Understand this: when God makes something new, He does not patch up the old. He does not remodel brokenness. He resurrects purpose. He does not simply polish what is worn out. He breathes life where death had claimed victory. God's renewal is not partial. It is complete, overflowing, transformative. He will give you new strength, a new vision, a new spirit, and a new song to sing. But you must be willing to release the old. You cannot hold on to the weight of your past and expect to run into your future. Beloved soul, God is calling you higher. He is calling you to let go of the bitterness, the unforgiveness, the fear, and the doubt that cling to your heart. Do not let the chains of the past define your freedom. God has already opened the prison gates. Why linger in the cell when the light of His renewal is waiting outside? When God says, your past is over, He is not just canceling what hurt you. He is rewriting your story. Think of the storms you have endured. Think of the tears that have watered the soil of your nights. Do you not know that God has seen every drop? Do you not know that every trial was preparing you for a greater glory? What felt like loss was often protection. What felt like delay was divine preparation. God was not silent. He was shaping. He was not absent. He was near, carrying you when your own strength collapsed. And now He whispers, rise, for I am making all things new. Do not fear stepping into the unknown, for the unknown is only unknown to you. To God, it is already written, already prepared, already blessed. He has gone before you. He has smoothed the path. He has ordered your steps. Your responsibility is not to worry about what tomorrow holds, but to trust the one who holds tomorrow in His hands. The past may have scarred you, but God will use those scars as signs of His deliverance. They will not be marks of shame, but testimonies of His power. The pain you endured will become the wisdom you carry. The betrayals you faced will become the discernment that protects you. The losses you mourned will become the blessings you thank Him for tomorrow. This is the beauty of God's renewal. He wastes nothing. Every valley you walked, every mountain you climbed, every desert you endured, God folds it into the masterpiece of your life. So lift your head. Do not bow to yesterday. Stand firm, knowing that God has declared you free. Your past is not a chain. It is a classroom. Your failures are not a prison. They are stepping stones. Your wounds are not curses. They are evidence of survival. And survival under the hand of God is not mere existence, it is victory. Yes, God is making all things new. He is restoring, redeeming, refreshing, and rebuilding. Let the old die. Let the past fade. Let yesterday be buried. Step into the dawn with faith. For the God who spoke the universe into being is speaking into your life now. Behold, I am making all things new. My beloved brothers and sisters, listen closely. For the hand of God is not short that it cannot reach you, nor is His mercy scarce that it cannot cover you. Every trial, every storm, every wound of your past is not the end of your story. It is the soil in which God plants the seeds of your future. Do not look back at what has been broken as though it cannot be restored. God, the one who breathes life into dust, can take what was shattered in your life and make it whole again. Do not allow regret to chain your spirit. Do not allow bitterness to poison your heart. Do not allow fear to dim the fire of your soul. For the same God who lifted His servants out of the darkest pits will lift you too. He turns ashes into beauty, sorrow into strength, and weakness into power. He is the one who says to the weary, "Do not despair of my mercy, for I forgive all sins." That means nothing from your past has the authority to cancel your future when God Himself has chosen to make all things new for you. You may feel unseen, but God sees you. You may feel forgotten, but God remembers you. You may feel like the doors are closed, but the keys are in the hand of the Almighty. And when He wills, no power on earth or in the heavens can keep the door shut. You may have stumbled, but falling is not the end. Rising with God's help is the beginning. Understand this truth. When God renews, He does not simply patch the broken pieces. He creates something greater than what was before. He molds your pain into wisdom, and your loss into compassion, and your struggle into unshakable strength. What you thought was the end of you was actually the preparation for the new you God is forming. So walk boldly into tomorrow with your trust anchored in the Almighty. Leave the weight of yesterday behind, for the God who split the sea for His servants can split your troubles wide open. The one who provides for the bird in the sky and the fish in the sea will not abandon you. If He watches over the smallest of His creation, will He not watch over your destiny? Lift your head high, child of God, for your past is over. A new season is unfolding. The author of your life has turned the page, and what is written ahead carries blessings, strength, and divine favor. Do not fear what lies before you, for the one who holds tomorrow is the same one who carries you today. My beloved, let us go even deeper into this truth. When God declares that He is making all things new, it is not a suggestion, it is not a possibility, it is a divine decree. God's Word does not return empty. It accomplishes what He sends it out to do. That means when He speaks renewal over your life, no force in this world can stop it. No enemy, no betrayal, no failure, and no wound can stand in the way of God's power to make things new. He is the creator of beginnings, the author of destiny, and the one who brings beauty out of ashes. Some of you have lived so long with the memory of your mistakes, with the heaviness of your regrets, that you have begun to believe your past has the final say. But hear this clearly: your past is over when God steps in. God is not holding you hostage to the things you did or the things done against you. His mercy is greater than your shame. His wisdom is deeper than your confusion, and His power is stronger than every chain that once bound you. When God forgives, He doesn't just erase the record. He gives you a fresh page, a new life, a redeemed purpose. Do not let the shadows of yesterday block the light of what God is doing today. Too often people carry burdens they were never meant to carry. They replay old conversations, revisit old wounds, and relive old failures. But God is calling you to rise up and step forward because He is not dwelling in the ruins of your past. He is working in the promise of your future. He is already planting seeds of blessing in places where you only saw barrenness. He is already opening doors you thought were forever closed. He is already shifting things in the unseen, preparing you for a new chapter that you could not write on your own. Understand this: God makes all things new, not only to free you from what was, but to prepare you for what will be. Every ending is a setup for a greater beginning. Every closed door is God's hand guiding you to a better one. Every trial is shaping your strength, purifying your spirit, and positioning you for the very things you once prayed for. Do not fear the unknown, because what is unknown to you is already known by God. He has seen the path ahead, and He is leading you, step by step, into a future filled with His goodness. And let me say this with boldness: stop identifying yourself by what you lost, and start identifying yourself by what God is restoring. You are not your pain. You are God's beloved. You are not your past. You are God's chosen. You are not defined by what broke you. You are defined by the God who heals you. When you look in the mirror, don't see the scars of yesterday. See the evidence that God preserved you, carried you, and is preparing you for something greater than you ever imagined. My friend, the God who spoke light into darkness, the God who split the sea, the God who raised nations and humbled empires, is the same God who is speaking into your life today. Behold, I am making all things new. Believe it, receive it, walk in it. Your past is finished, and your future rests in the hands of God. Beloved, as this message comes to its close, hold firmly to this everlasting truth. God is the one who carries your past, your present, and your future in His powerful hands. Your mistakes, your failures, and your regrets do not define who you are. They were part of your journey, but they were never meant to be the ending of your story. The final word belongs to God. And when He speaks life, renewal, and restoration. Do not remain focused on what has been taken away, because God is preparing what is about to be given. Do not keep mourning over doors that have closed, because God is opening doors that no one will be able to shut. Do not be afraid of what you cannot yet see, because God has already prepared a future for you filled with wisdom, strength, and blessings greater than you can imagine. Move forward with courage. Lift your head, because you are walking with the one who makes all things new. You are not abandoned. You are not forgotten. And you are not defeated. God is not finished with you. What is behind you has come to an end, but what is ahead of you is filled with promise, hope, and divine purpose. So keep going in faith. Trust God with all your heart and leave the past where it belongs, behind you. For the Almighty has declared, "Behold, I make all things new." And when God makes something new, no power on earth and no force in heaven can stand against it. Your past is over. Your new beginning is already here. Walk in it, live in it, and give glory to God for it. Have you ever been hurt so deeply by someone's words or actions that it felt like the center of your soul had been struck? Have you ever laid awake in the silence of the night, replaying the cruelty, the betrayal, the lies, the rejection, and asking yourself how the people who wounded you could rest so peacefully while you were left drowning in tears? My friend, hear this with all your heart. God sees, God hears, God knows. And He will not let the pain that was poured onto your life go without an answer. The day will come when those who rejected you, those who laughed at you, those who pushed you aside, will look back with regret for ever speaking against you or lifting their hand against your life. Because when one of God's children is mistreated, heaven does not ignore it. The world may believe it can walk over you without consequence, but the one seated on the throne never forgets. The same God who placed favor on Joseph, even after his brothers threw him into the pit, is the same God watching over you now. The ones who betrayed Joseph lived long enough to witness his rising. They saw him clothed in authority, and they were forced to face the very betrayal they once thought would ruin him. That is the way God moves. He takes the evil meant to destroy you and turns it into a platform for His glory. And the people who believed they had buried you will live to regret it when they see you standing in the light of God's rescue. Never lose sight of this truth. God is the defender of the weak, the shield of the broken, and the righteous judge over the lives of men. When others shame you, when they mock your pain, when they whisper behind your back, they are not only coming against you, they are coming against the hand of God resting on your life. And God will not remain silent forever. He will move. He will vindicate you. He will cause their own actions to rise and testify against them. What they planted in cruelty, they will harvest in regret. What they threw at you in hatred, they will one day gather back in shame. So many people live beneath the weight of old wounds. They believe the pain done to them has been overlooked, as though heaven turned away and saw nothing. But I tell you today, God is not blind. He is not deaf. He is not powerless. He is mighty, and His timing is flawless. He is even now preparing justice on your behalf. And when His hand moves, every plot, every scheme, every weapon raised against you will crumble. And those who thought they triumphed will bow their heads in regret, because God Himself will turn the tables. You see, when people hurt you, they often underestimate who you belong to. They think they are dealing with you in your weakness, but they forget you are under the covering of the Almighty. When they curse you, they curse the one God has chosen. When they strike at you, they strike at the very apple of God's eye. And God will not allow His chosen ones to be trampled forever. The tears you have cried are not wasted. They are seeds. And those who made you weep will one day regret the day they planted cruelty in your life. For God will make them watch the harvest of blessing He brings to you. Think of Hannah, mocked by those who ridiculed her barrenness. They laughed. They sneered. They thought her prayers were in vain. But when God opened her womb, when the answer came, the ones who mocked could do nothing but look in regret. The laughter of your enemies is only temporary, my friend. The sneers of those who despise you are but for a moment. For God's answer, God's blessing, God's breakthrough, these will silence them and fill their hearts with regret for ever doubting the power of God upon your life. So do not waste your energy trying to defend yourself. Do not let bitterness poison your heart. You do not need to fight with the weapons of man. Your defender is greater. Your judge is higher. Your deliverer is stronger. Let God fight your battles. Let God write the story. For when God lifts you up, no one can deny it. And when He does, those who hurt you will see it and regret the cruelty they unleashed against you. Perhaps right now you feel forgotten, pushed aside, treated as though you are nothing. But the very people who thought they could dismiss you will live to regret it when they see how far God carries you. He does not leave His children in the dust. He raises the poor out of the ash heap and sets them among princes. He exalts the humble and brings low the proud. Those who rejected you today may one day need your hand tomorrow. And when they come, there will be no regret, for they will see the hand of God that they once ignored. Let me tell you, my friend, life has a way of exposing hearts. People reveal their true character not in how they treat the powerful, but in how they treat the vulnerable. Those who think they can trample you because of your weakness forget that God delights in raising the weak. He delights in choosing the unlikely. He delights in lifting the rejected. So when they regret hurting you, it will not simply be because of your success. It will be because of God's undeniable hand upon you. And this is why you must keep your heart clean. Do not lower yourself to their level. Do not fight with bitterness. Do not let the venom of others become your own. Leave it in the hands of God. For if you try to repay evil with evil, you rob God of the chance to show Himself as your defender. Let Him act. Let Him reveal. Let Him vindicate. And when He does, your enemies will regret their actions in ways you could never orchestrate on your own. God knows how to prepare a table before you in the presence of those who despise you. He knows how to lift you so high that those who once looked down on you will have no choice but to look up. They may not admit it out loud, but deep within their hearts will burn with regret. They will remember the words they spoke, the deeds they did, the harm they inflicted, and they will wish they had never touched you. For God will show them that His hand is stronger than their hate. Never underestimate what God can do with your pain. Pain is not wasted in His hands. Betrayal is not ignored in His sight. Wounds are not forgotten in His presence. Every tear you have shed has been seen. Every injustice you have endured has been recorded. And every act of cruelty against you is a seed of regret waiting to sprout in the lives of those who hurt you. God's justice is not always immediate, but it is always certain. And when it comes, it will be undeniable. When people hurt you, they believe they have the final word over your destiny. They think their betrayal has sealed your fate. They believe their gossip, their rejection, their lies have written the last chapter of your story. But they do not hold the pen. God does. And when God writes, no man can erase. When God opens a door, no enemy can close it. When God chooses to raise you up, no betrayal, no jealousy, no conspiracy of hell can stop it. That is why those who wounded you will live to regret it, because God Himself will show them that their cruelty was powerless against His purpose for your life. You must understand this, my friend. Every injustice against you is already accounted for by God. Nothing escapes His sight. Nothing slips past His judgment. Even when it feels like the wicked prosper, even when it appears that the liars and deceivers succeed, their triumph is only for a season. It is a mirage in the desert. God's justice may move slowly in the eyes of men, but it is swift in its certainty. And when it comes with a force so undeniable that those who once laughed at you are silenced by their own shame. Do not envy those who mistreat you. Do not wish for their life, no matter how glittering it may seem. For their joy is fleeting, their prosperity temporary, their comfort hollow. When God arises, when His justice rolls forth like thunder, those who mocked you will bow their heads, their laughter choked with regret. The same lips that cursed you will stammer in shame. The same hands that struck you will tremble in fear. The same hearts that despised you will be crushed under the weight of their own guilt because God Himself will confront them. Remember Pharaoh, who hardened his heart against the oppressed, thinking he could trample them without consequence. He had armies, he had wealth, he had power. But when God lifted His hand, all Pharaoh's strength collapsed into ruin. The oppressor always looks invincible until God decides otherwise. And when God moves, the mighty fall, and those who inflicted pain are drowned in the sea of their own arrogance. Those who rise against you will regret it, for they will face the living God who defends the cause of the wounded and lifts the head of the brokenhearted. Do not let bitterness consume you, for bitterness chains you to the pain of yesterday. Release it to God. Place your wounds in His hands. Let Him be your avenger. For His vengeance is not petty, it is perfect. He knows how to turn the very schemes of your enemies into their undoing. He knows how to expose the secret plots whispered in dark rooms. He knows how to bring hidden wickedness into the light until those who schemed against you are forced to regret ever laying a hand upon your life. There will come a time when those who dismissed you, who said you would never succeed, will stand in awe as God lifts you higher than their words ever imagined. They will see that the very stones they threw became the foundation God used to elevate you. And in that moment their hearts will burn with regret. For the one they thought was nothing will stand tall, not because of human power, but because of the hand of God. Do not think for a moment that your tears were unseen. Every tear shed in silence is stored in the heart of God. Every sigh of pain is heard in the courts of heaven, and God does not waste the cries of His children. The very tears they caused you to shed will become evidence against them when God moves to vindicate you. The same ones who thought your weeping was weakness will regret it. For God will show them that your tears watered the soil of your future blessing. Consider this. Many times the people who hurt you are blind to the treasure God placed within you. They thought they were wounding an ordinary person, not realizing they were striking someone chosen, someone set apart, someone protected by the Almighty. And when God reveals your true worth, when the hidden treasure of your life shines forth, those same people will regret their blindness. They will realize too late that in despising you, they despised what God had ordained. That is why you must walk with dignity. Do not lower yourself to revenge. Do not fight with the weapons of hate. Stand still and see the salvation of God. Stand firm and watch Him unfold His justice. Because when He does, it will not only silence your enemies, it will make them regret the very moment they decided to harm you. God knows how to orchestrate regret so deep that it pierces the conscience of those who thought they were untouchable. When God elevates you, He does not do it in secret. He does it openly, so that those who once belittled you are forced to watch. It is not to satisfy your pride, but to prove His power. It is to show the world that He alone lifts up and brings down. And those who hurt you will stand as unwilling witnesses of the greatness God places upon your life. Their regret will not simply be personal, it will be public. Everyone will see it. Everyone will know it. And the very ones who thought they were breaking you will regret they ever tried. My friend, let me speak with urgency to your heart. Never confuse silence with absence. Just because God has not acted yet does not mean He has overlooked the wrongs committed against you. Silence is often the stage upon which God builds the greatest revelations. He allows the proud to strut for a season. He allows the arrogant to parade for a time. But make no mistake, when the silence breaks, it will break with thunder. And those who once hurt you, those who thought there would be no consequences, will be overwhelmed with regret as the hand of God moves swiftly and decisively. When people rise against you, they rarely understand the depth of their actions. They may think they are only wounding your feelings, only damaging your reputation, only taking from you what they can, but in truth, they are sowing seeds before the throne of God. And the harvest of those seeds will not be joy, but bitter regret. For God is not mocked. Whatever a man sows, that shall he also reap. The cruelty they sowed into your life will one day sprout in their own. And they will remember the moments they despised you and wish they had chosen differently. Understand this clearly. Your pain is not in vain. The very hurt you endure becomes the material God uses to elevate you. Every insult becomes a stepping stone, every rejection a platform, every betrayal a ladder to higher ground. This is why the regret of your enemies is inevitable, because while they thought they were burying you, they were in truth planting you. And when the seed that is your life begins to grow, when the branches stretch out and bear fruit, those who cast you aside will regret they ever touched you. God has a way of flipping the script in ways the human mind cannot comprehend. Look at the stories written throughout time. How often the rejected one became the cornerstone. How often the despised one became the exalted. How often the wounded one became the healer. The fingerprints of God are always on the side of the broken. He delights in turning ashes into beauty, mourning into joy, sorrow into strength. And when He does, those who mocked your ashes will regret their laughter when they behold the crown of beauty upon your head. Do not be deceived by appearances. Those who hurt you may look strong, but their strength is fragile. They may look successful, but their success is hollow. They may look untouchable, but without the covering of God they are vulnerable. The moment God lifts His hand, their foundation crumbles. The same people who boasted against you will one day stumble under the weight of regret. Not because of your power, but because they challenge the authority of God by touching one whom He loves. And here is a mystery. Sometimes God allows the wound so that His justice can be revealed more gloriously. If no one had hurt you, there would be no need for vindication. If no one had betrayed you, there would be no stage for God's reversal. It is often through the cruelty of others that God displays His greatest acts of justice. Those who pierce you become instruments in His hand, not for your destruction, but for your elevation. And when their purpose is fulfilled, they will look back and regret that they ever allowed themselves to be used in such a way. Let us not forget, God is the master of timing. He knows when to remain silent and when to act. He knows how to build pressure until the moment of release. He knows how to let the story unfold until the very last moment, when regret will strike the hearts of your enemies like lightning from heaven. They will not be able to undo what they did. They will not be able to take back their words. They will not be able to erase their actions. They will only be left with the bitter taste of regret, because the God who defends you will make sure they remember the harm they caused. That is why you must walk in confidence, even in the midst of pain. Do not hang your head as if you have been defeated. Do not walk as though the cruelty of others has the final word. Lift your eyes to the heavens and know that God is your portion, your shield, your defender. Those who rise against you are not stronger than Him. And if God has allowed the hurt, it is only because He is preparing the stage for His justice. When that justice arrives, those who stood against you will sorrow over the day they underestimated someone who walks with God. Think about this too. That regret will not always appear through some public collapse. At times, it will settle quietly in the silence of their own conscience. A cruel word spoken against you may stay with them for years. An act done in malice may return to them in the middle of the night and refuse to let them rest. The very ones who wounded you may carry a smile before others, yet in private they may be burdened by regret. God knows how to awaken the conscience, and He knows how to cause the memory of their actions to burn within them until they are made to confront what they have done. But as for you, remain unshaken. Do not allow the poison of revenge to enter your spirit. Do not spend your strength trying to engineer their fall. Place everything in the hands of God. His justice is far greater than anything you could produce on your own. If you fight only for yourself, the outcome will be limited. But if God fights on your behalf, the victory will be unmistakable, and the regret in the hearts of those who opposed you will run deep. Trust Him, wait for Him, stand firm in faith, and hold on to this truth above all else. The very people who hurt you may one day find themselves needing you. Life often has a way of coming full circle. God knows how to position your life so that those who once looked down on you are the very ones who must seek your help. And when that day comes, their regret will weigh heavier than their pride, for they will see with their own eyes that the one they rejected was the very one God chose to bless. My beloved friend, I must speak to you with fire and urgency. Do not measure your worth by the way others have treated you. Do not allow the wounds inflicted by their jealousy, their gossip, their betrayal, to convince you that you are less than who God says you are. When people hurt you, they reveal more about the darkness of their own heart than they do about you. Their cruelty is a mirror of their emptiness. And while they may laugh in the moment, while they may celebrate your pain, a day will come when they will bow under the weight of regret. Because God will lift you in ways they never imagined possible. Never think for a moment that the cruelty of others can erase the purpose God has written for your life. Your destiny is not in the hands of your enemies, nor in the whispers of those who despise you. Your destiny is sealed in the hand of the Almighty. He alone writes the story. He alone opens and closes the doors. He alone determines the heights to which you will rise. And when He raises you, He will raise you so high that those who once hurt you will tremble with regret, wondering why they ever opposed you in the first place. The truth is this: God allows certain people to wound you because their betrayal becomes the very soil where His justice takes root. If no one ever harmed you, there would be no stage for Him to display His power. If no one ever rejected you, There would be no opportunity for him to reveal his vindication. The pain they inflicted upon you will become their testimony of regret when God turns it into your victory. Think of this carefully. Those who hurt you often believe they silenced you, that they buried you under shame, but they did not realize you are a seed in the hand of God. Seeds are buried, yes, but not to die, to grow. What they meant as burial was, in truth, a planting. And when God waters that seed, when He shines His light upon it, when He causes it to sprout forth in power, they will regret they ever placed you in the ground. For what they thought was your end will be the beginning of a harvest they cannot deny. Do not waste your time explaining yourself to those who mistreat you. You do not need their validation. You do not need their approval. You do not need their acceptance. What you need is the hand of God upon your life. And when God places His hand upon you, He Himself will speak on your behalf. He will speak through your blessing, through your rise, through your survival. He will cause the very people who tried to silence you to sit in silence, overwhelmed by regret at the power of God revealed in you. You see, the regret of your enemies is not something you must force. It is not something you must demand. It is something God Himself orchestrates. He knows how to expose the hidden plans. He knows how to bring the whispers of the dark into the light. He knows how to reverse the trap and make those who built it fall into it themselves. And when it happens, their regret will be so heavy they will not be able to escape it. God Himself will make them look back and realize that the one they despised was the one He had chosen. Do not envy their momentary triumph. Do not be discouraged by their temporary success. For everything built apart from God collapses in time. And when it collapses, those who laughed at you will regret their arrogance. They will regret the way they spoke about you, the way they treated you, the way they looked down on you, because God will show them that He alone is the author of honor and shame, of rise and fall. And hear me well, sometimes the regret will not come through outward downfall, but inward emptiness. Some of the very people who hurt you will appear successful to the world, but inside they will be tormented by guilt, by shame, by the haunting memory of their cruelty. They will carry regret like a shadow they cannot escape, because God knows how to awaken the conscience, to pierce the heart, to remind them of every wound they caused. Their regret will echo within them until they face the reality that they raised their hand against one whom God was protecting all along. But as for you, you must rise above the trap of bitterness. Do not let hatred poison your soul. The moment you allow revenge to control you, you rob God of His chance to vindicate you. Your task is to trust, to endure, to remain faithful. God will handle the rest. His vengeance is not small, it is perfect. And when His hand moves, your enemies will regret, with a regret so deep that no words can comfort them. Understand also that regret is not only about punishment, it is about recognition. Those who hurt you will one day recognize that God was with you all along. They will see the evidence of His blessing upon your life. They will see the fruit of His hand upon your path. And in that recognition, their pride will crumble. Their arrogance will fall. And they will regret ever thinking they could touch what God has chosen to protect. My friend, let me tell you something powerful. The same hands that pushed you down will one day wish they had lifted you up. The same lips that slandered you will one day wish they had spoken blessings over you. The same eyes that looked at you with disdain will one day wish they had looked at you with respect. Because God has a way of flipping the very script of life in such a way that those who thought they were humiliating you will end up humiliated themselves. This is the justice of God. It is not partial. It is not delayed forever. It is not uncertain. It is sure. It is strong. It is final. The hurt that others inflicted upon you is not the end of your story. It is only a chapter and not the final one. God always reserves the last word. And when He speaks, His word silences every critic, every accuser, every liar, every betrayer. When He declares you blessed, no curse can stand. When He declares you lifted, no hand can pull you down. When He declares you chosen, no rejection can cancel it. And those who hurt you will regret it, not because of what you did to them, but because of what God has done for you. There is a deep truth I want you to hold in your spirit. God never wastes pain. Every drop of sorrow you have endured, every sting of betrayal you have felt, every humiliation you have suffered has been collected by God and stored for a purpose. The very things that were meant to destroy you are the things God uses to build you. And when He displays the beauty that comes from your ashes, when He unveils the strength that rose from your suffering, those who caused your pain will be forced to watch. And in their watching, they will regret their cruelty, because God will make your life a testimony they cannot ignore. Do not underestimate the power of divine reversal. The story of your life is not written in straight lines. It is filled with turns, with valleys, with storms. But each valley, each storm, each wound becomes an avenue for God's glory to shine brighter. And the brighter it shines, the deeper the regret for those who mocked you in the darkness. They will look back and remember the moments they laughed at you, the times they dismissed you, the words they hurled against you, and they will wish they had done differently. For God will show them that they were not mocking you, but the plan He had for you. Hear me well. There is nothing hidden from God. Every insult, every act of betrayal, every secret plot against you is fully exposed before Him. People may think their words vanished into the air, their deeds buried in silence, but before God, nothing is forgotten. And in His perfect time, He will bring it all back before them, not through your revenge, but through His justice. And when it is brought back, they will regret deeply that they ever allowed pride and cruelty to guide their actions. Sometimes God will allow you to rise in front of those who despised you, not because He needs to prove anything to them, but because He delights in proving His faithfulness to you. When you stand in places they said you would never reach, when you achieve victories they swore you would never have, when you walk in peace they thought they had stolen from you, their regret will be undeniable. They will realize they were not fighting you, they were fighting God, and no one who fights against God ever wins. Do not miss this. Your role is not to chase after their regret. Your role is to trust God, to keep your heart pure, to keep walking forward. If you keep looking back, demanding revenge, you will lose sight of the path God is calling you to. Let God handle them. He is more than capable. He knows how to bring them face to face with their actions in a way that penetrates deeper than anything you could ever say. He knows how to let life unfold in such a way that regret finds them at every turn. Leave it to Him, and you will see that His justice is far greater than anything your hands could build. Sometimes the greatest regret God places upon those who hurt you is not through their downfall, but through your rise. Nothing pierces the heart of your enemies like watching you thrive after they tried to destroy you. Nothing stings like seeing you walk in peace after they tried to disturb you. Nothing cuts deeper than seeing you shine with the blessing of God after they tried to bury you in darkness. This is why you must not shrink back. You must not give up. You must not surrender. Your very survival, your very progress, your very faithfulness will become a testimony that fills their hearts with regret. And let us not forget, God works in generations. Sometimes the regret will not only fall upon those who hurt you, but upon their children, upon their descendants, upon their legacy. Because when people touch the chosen of God, they are not only harming an individual, they are setting themselves against the plan of heaven. And the ripple effects of that choice can echo for years. Your enemies may smile today, but the future is in God's hands, and He knows how to write regret into the legacy of those who thought they could stand against you. But as for you, take comfort in this. Your story is safe in God's hands. He is not done with you yet. The pain of today will become the platform of tomorrow. The tears of this season will water the joy of the next. The rejection you feel now will become the testimony of acceptance you walk in later. And when it happens, those who hurt you will regret every word, every action, every deed, because they will see that nothing they did could stop the hand of God on your life. My beloved, let me remind you today that when God places His hand upon your life, no force on earth can stop what He has ordained. The winds may blow, the waves may rise, and enemies may conspire. But the command of God is greater than every storm, every voice, and every obstacle in your path. What He decrees will come to pass, and what He blesses, no one can curse. Many times you feel like life is against you. But remember, life does not control you. God does. He holds the keys to every door, the solution to every burden, and the answer to every cry of your heart. When you begin to trust that God's plan is far wiser than your own, peace will flood your soul. The disappointments you face will no longer break you, because you will see them as divine redirection. The delays you encounter will no longer discourage you, because you will know they are preparation. And the trials that once made you question your worth will now make you stronger, because you will understand that God never allows pain without purpose. Every struggle, every sleepless night, every tear is shaping you into a vessel that can hold the greatness He is preparing to pour into your life. Do not measure your future by what you see today. Do not let the opinions of others define your destiny. People may doubt you. People may abandon you. People may even try to destroy you. But their power is nothing compared to the will of God. The one who raised you up is the same one who will protect you, guide you, and promote you at the appointed time. What is written for you will reach you. What God has set aside for you will not be taken by another. No matter how hard the enemy tries, he cannot steal what belongs to you when you remain steadfast under God's covering. Lift your eyes beyond the immediate. Look higher than your circumstance. For God has promised that those who place their trust in Him will never be left in shame. Even when you walk through the fire, His presence is your shield. Even when you pass through the waters, His hand is your anchor. Even when the darkness seems to cover you, His light will break through and lead you into dawn. This is not the end for you. It is the beginning of a greater story written by the hand of God Himself. When God is preparing to elevate you, He often first teaches you how to endure storms without breaking. A tree that grows tall and unshaken must first drive its roots deep into the soil. Likewise, God allows certain winds to blow against you, not to destroy you, but to make you unmovable. The trials you face are not punishments, but preparations. The moments when you feel pressed on every side are the very moments when God is forming within you the strength to carry the blessing He has ordained. If your struggle seems heavy, it is only because the weight of your future blessing is greater than you imagine. Do not mistake delay for denial. What looks like silence from God is often His greatest work in the unseen. His silence was your preparation, and His timing was your perfection. When people rise against you, when friends betray you, when enemies mock you, remember this: no one can cancel what God has written. His decree is final, and His plan cannot be overturned. If God has chosen to bless you, no opposition can stop it. Their words may sting, but God's word will stand. Their schemes may rise, but God's hand will scatter them. Do not waste your energy fighting battles that belong to God. Stand firm, be still, and trust that the one who holds the heavens also holds your destiny. And hear this truth: sometimes God removes certain people from your path, not because they were bad to you, but because they were too small for where He is taking you. Not everyone can carry the weight of your blessing. Not everyone can walk with you into your new season. God is selective with who He allows in your life, because the blessing He is about to release is sacred, and He will not allow it to be contaminated by wrong company. Let go of what God has removed, for if it was meant to stay, it would have stayed. Your breakthrough is not just about you. It is about the testimony that will inspire others. When God blesses you, He blesses you so that others may see His greatness through your life. Your story of struggle to strength, of pain to purpose, will become a light for someone lost in darkness. This is why your battle is so fierce. The enemy fears the impact of your testimony. But fear not, for God has already declared your victory. Beloved, lift your head, wipe your tears, straighten your shoulders. You are not forgotten. You are not forsaken. God's hand is upon you, and His plan for you cannot fail. The night may seem endless, but the dawn is already breaking. Hold on, for God is about to give you something so big, so powerful, so undeniable, that all who doubted you will have no choice but to say, "This is the work of God." My beloved, there comes a time in every soul's journey when the weight of life feels unbearable. The darkness of uncertainty presses in, and you wonder if the light of dawn will ever shine again. But I tell you with every fiber of conviction, God does not abandon those who call upon Him. When you feel stripped, when you feel empty, when you feel forgotten by the world, that is often the very moment when God is closest. For it is in the silence of brokenness that the voice of God speaks loudest. Do not mistake your waiting as God's neglect. Waiting is God's workshop. It is in the waiting that He reshapes your heart, strengthens your faith, and prepares you for blessings beyond what you can even imagine. You see, if blessings came too early, they might destroy you. If doors opened too soon, you might walk unprepared. But when God, in His infinite wisdom, holds you back, it is not to harm you. It is to protect you until the right season arrives. And hear me on this: when God decides to elevate you, no hand can hold you down. When God declares increase over your life, no enemy can block it. When God opens a door, no human being can shut it. The rise that comes from God is unstoppable, unshakable, and undeniable. And if you have been through storms, if you have been betrayed, if you have been overlooked, then lift up your head, because all that pain was not punishment, it was preparation. Do not envy the quick success of others, for not every elevation comes from God. Some rise like a firework, fast, loud, and bright, but then they fall into darkness just as quickly. But when God raises you, He builds you like a mountain, firm, immovable, and everlasting. A rise from God cannot be reversed. A blessing from God cannot be stolen. A destiny written by God cannot be erased. So I tell you today, stop worrying about who left you. Stop stressing over what you lost. Stop crying over closed doors. What left your life was never meant to carry you to where God is taking you. And what is coming into your life is far greater than anything you left behind. God is not a God of decrease. He is a God of abundance, a God of multiplication, a God of restoration. He takes what the enemy meant for harm and turns it into good. Therefore, walk with courage. Do not tremble before challenges, for every challenge is proof that God trusts you with a greater future. Do not shrink back in fear, for fear is a thief of faith. Stand tall, speak boldly, and keep declaring in your heart, God is with me, God is guiding me, and God is preparing me. Even if the path looks rough, even if the nights feel long, remember, God does His finest work in the unseen, in the hidden places, in the silence where no one applauds. And soon, very soon, the same people who doubted you will watch God's hand lift you higher than they ever imagined. The same lips that mocked you will be silenced. The very doors that once closed in your face will one day stand open before you, not through your own strength, but through the limitless, unstoppable, and unshakable power of Almighty God. My beloved, let this truth sink deeply into your soul. God has never left you, and He never will. Every tear that has fallen from your eyes, every restless night you have survived, every battle that seems strong enough to destroy you, God has seen every part of it, and your victory was written by His hand long before the struggle ever appeared. What seems like the end is only the beginning of something far greater. God does not close one door without already preparing another, one that is higher and better for those who continue to trust in Him. So keep moving forward in faith. Lift your head. Do not let fear break you. Do not let doubt weaken you. Do not let the whispers of the enemy define you. God has placed His power within you, His covering around you, and His purpose ahead of you. The road may seem steep, and the night may seem long, but morning is on the way, and with it comes the favor of God that no human hand can remove. Live with courage, live with confidence, live knowing that the hand of God is leading you. When the storms rise, declare that your God is greater. When the trials come, declare that your God is stronger. When others question you, declare that your God is faithful. Hold on, because your story is not finished. The finest chapter is still ahead. Put your trust in the one who has never failed. For God is preparing a blessing so great that when it reaches you, you will look back at every wound and say, "It was all worth it." Stand firm, beloved. God is with you. God is on your side, and God will bring you all the way into victory. This is not your ending. This is the opening of the glory God has prepared for your life.